Does this quarantine have you feeling a little bit overwhelmed, maybe a little bit discouraged, feel like you just can't make any gains in your health? Well, let me help you today. Jonathan Vogel here with Origins Health Coaching, and I want to give you 5 steps to take back your health and start burning fat now. So let's dive into the 5 steps. Number 1, utilize food as medicine. And what I mean by that is you've got to stop just eating whatever, or eating to use food to help you feel better, or to help you just conquer the boredom. I understand. It's challenging, it's difficult, there's so many options, so many things swarming around you, but you've got to take food seriously and let it be that which is actually going to nourish and provide nutrients. That's the primary purpose of why we have food and why we have to eat, is to nourish and feed these bodies. So start letting food be that. Let it be that thing which will actually feed your body and actually give you the nutrients and the help and the health that you need. And so a couple ways you can do that is, first of all, eat whole and real foods. Get away from all the processed garbage. Start eating fresh foods. Start eating whole foods. Think about shopping the outer aisles of your grocery store. That's where you're going to find the fresh fruits and vegetables and the meats and a little bit of dairy maybe. Or jump into the frozen section, get some frozen meats and fruits and vegetables if you want to get it a little cheaper. But eat whole foods, eat real foods. You've got to get away from all that processed stuff. The second way is to cut sugar. Sugar has been added to everything. When the society got so worried about fat and that fat is a problem and we've got to cut fat, what did they do? When they took the fat out of foods, they added sugar in order to give it the flavor, in order to boost it up. I challenge you to go and look at something in your pantry or your refrigerator and just look at the added sugars and see how much is there. You're probably going to see 14, 15, maybe even 20 grams of sugar added to these foods and things that you have. That's terrible for you. It's keeping your blood sugar elevated, which is keeping your insulin levels elevated, which is causing hormone imbalances. It's causing all kinds of issues inside your body that you've got to cut. So cut the sugar, eat whole foods, and use food to actually feed your body. Number 2, use fat for fuel. You see, fat is the preferred fuel source. I'm convinced of it. But the majority of us, because we're eating high, heavy carbohydrate diets, which is what is recommended by our nutrition sources, and we're constantly hungry, we're constantly crashing, we're constantly just not feeling good because we've got that sugar running as the fuel in our bodies. But our bodies prefer fat. Our bodies prefer running on that. The brain prefers running on that. You know, when my wife switched from a sugar burner to fat for fuel, her epilepsy and seizures completely went away. Why? Because the brain preferred the fuel source. She was actually feeding her brain what it needed and what it craved. And so the way to do this primarily is to just greatly restrict your carbohydrates. Which, if you start by eating real foods and eating whole foods and shopping those outer aisles, you're going to do that naturally to some extent. But I want you to restrict the carbohydrates. As you restrict the carbohydrates, there's not all that sugar running through to run on sugar for fuel, and naturally your body will then begin to, here's what's beautiful, turn to stored body fat to burn that for fuel. Which, you know what that means? That means weight loss. Because that means that now your body's turning to the gut, turning to the hips, turning to the butt, wherever it is that you've got that body fat that you want to go away, and it's going to burn that for fuel. So the second step is to burn fat for fuel. Third is fitness through movement. that you start utilizing movement as your fitness. I am not advocating here tons and tons of exercise. Weight loss proponents will constantly talk about cut your calories, exercise more. You don't need more exercise. You just need to start implementing movement into your life. The body was made, it was designed to move. God created our bodies with this incredible ability to move and do some phenomenal things. But most of us live sedentary lives. We sit all day long. We get up, we take a long commute to work, and then we get to the office and we sit for 8, 9, 10, 11 hours behind a desk. Then we come home and plop ourselves down on the couch or at the kitchen table and we sit some more. We're constantly sitting. We're sedentary. That's not what the body was designed to do. You need to add in movement. Yes, I encourage you 2, 3, 4 times a week to take 15, 20 minutes to do some kind of exercise that you enjoy. Something that you can commit to, something that you can stay faithful to, that you like doing. But beyond that, add in movement. Go for a walk. Set an alarm on your phone. Put it on your calendar that every hour or every 2 hours you're going to get up and you're going to do some kind of movement. It doesn't have to take very long. Take a couple laps around the office, or if you're still working from home, take a couple laps around the neighborhood. Drop down and do 15, 20 push-ups or some squats. Do a couple yoga moves, some stretches, whatever it is that you like doing, that you can commit to doing, and do it. Add in movement throughout your day. Get up. If you can get a standing desk, or you can get your boss to get you a standing desk, do it. Something so you've got movement. You've got freedom from that sedentary lifestyle. That's where you're going to gain your fitness. That's what I encourage you to do. Number 4, fasting for healing. You see, fasting heals your body. When you're not eating, when you're not constantly putting food into this body, it allows the body to freely and naturally heal itself from some of the things that are taking place in your body. The inflammation, the gut health, all kinds of these different things that may be issues in the body. When you fast, when you stop feeding it, you allow it to heal. All of us do this naturally for at least a small period of time every night whenever we cut off dinner or dessert or whatever it is we eat after dinner, until the time in which we maybe eat breakfast, a time in which we're sleeping. We have a natural fasting period. What I'm encouraging you to do is lengthen that a bit. Maybe move dinner a little bit earlier, move breakfast a little bit later. But add in some time, some periods of fasting to allow your body to heal. Allow your body to do this natural process that God has designed the body to do. And so you can do this by creating smaller eating windows. What I mean by an eating window is simply the period of time in which you eat. Currently, if you eat breakfast at 8 o'clock and then you finish dinner at some point later in the evening, that is your eating window. And it's a very large window of time. Many people, it's 12, 13, 14 hours. Why not restrict that to 8 hours? Or as you get a little better, maybe restrict it down to 6 hours. Where you're only eating in this very small period of time, and the rest of the time is a fasting period. And the easy way to start this, because you've got to start slow, the easy way to start this would be to just push breakfast back a little bit later. Today I'm going to wait, I'm going to eat breakfast about 10. And maybe a couple days later you push it back to 11 until eventually you've completely skipped breakfast and you're eating lunch. And then if you want to keep going further, you push lunch back a little bit further and a little bit further, so that you restrict that eating window and get it down to maybe 6 hours. And you begin to let your body heal and heal naturally. Okay, the fifth is that these different factors to optimize your body. You take into play different factors. There's a number of different factors that are at play that too often people forget about or neglect in their health because they don't think they're that important. But they really are. And there's two critical ones that I want to address here, and one of those is sleep. You cannot neglect sleep. Your body was designed to require sleep, and to require, as an adult, 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep. And you got to stop thinking of yourself as the exception, because you're not. You are not the exception. You need 7 to 9 hours of sleep every single night. And when you don't get quality sleep for a long enough period of time, you're going to suffer. Your health is going to suffer. Your ability to lose weight is going to suffer. All these other things are going to suffer. You have to get enough quality sleep. The second of these factors that I want to address is you have got to address and deal with the stress in your life. Stress is natural. Stress comes into our lives. We have these things that cause stress, and that's fine. But the chronic stress, and many of us are dealing with chronic stress, this stress that is just there all the time, these constant things that we're allowing into our lives to pull us down, to get our adrenaline running and constantly running, which means that the insulin in the body is constantly running, which means that fat burning completely stops. And it's building up and it's building up inflammation. It's creating disease. It's causing chronic problems that you have to deal with. You've got to deal with the stress in your life. You've got to take steps, whatever it is that works for you, to deal with stress if you ever want to go forward in improving your health. If you ever want to get to the place of actually losing weight and feeling better and gaining energy. Sleep and stress. I've addressed these 5 steps you can take right now to take back your health and burn fat. And each one of these 5 things work into this process that I've created called the fat-fueled formula. We address food, fuel, fitness, fasting, and these factors. And I've put together a free training that I want you to take part of, a workshop that will walk you through this even more and give you even greater information into how you can actually put this into practice today. And I'd love for you to join me in this workshop. It's completely free. You can take part in it. Learn more about how you can use each of these steps to actually take back your health. And so I'd love for you to join me in this free workshop, the Origins Fat Burning Blueprint. You can go to it at originshealthcoaching.com/workshop. The link will be in the description of this YouTube video. I'd love for you to learn more and learn how I use these steps to lose over 30 pounds in a matter of a few months, completely naturally, seemingly effortlessly, and now use them to just really feel better than I ever have before in my life. So join me in this free workshop, originshealthcoaching.com/workshop. If you enjoy this video, you want more, you want to learn more, subscribe, turn on the notifications so you don't miss when I drop another one of these videos. I can't wait to see you again in the next video.